Welcome to Win It Life, everyone. Today with me, I have Kathy, and Kathy and I are going to talk about one of my least favorite subjects, believe it or not, because I don't do it well enough. Work life balance. I tend to shift it over to the work side and not put enough life balance into it, but hopefully that will be changing. I have one thing going on behind the scenes that may be changing to make the pendulum equal out. And it's nothing having to do with my back here. So even though that's all another story in itself. So it's my pleasure to welcome Kathy, and she's going to talk about work life balance.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And so I am Kathy Belargin. I own a US based virtual assisting agency that provides admin support and for business owners and nonprofit organizations. And so we see this all the time. The people that are really struggling with that work life balance. They're incredibly successful people in their own right, and they get to a point where they feel completely unbalanced, whether that's on the work side or the life side. Something's unbalanced, and so they usually come to us to see how we can lighten the load a little bit in certain areas. And so, having talked to hundreds of business owners, executive directors, um, you know, um, executive managers, it's, it all kind of comes down to one thing: work life balance is possibly unattainable, right? If you think of like the perfect work life balance day, there's always probably going to be one that has more focus than the other. And it really just depends on where you're at in your season of life, right? We want to focus on business when the business is good. And we want to focus on business when we are passionate about growing what we're, getting into what we're doing, growing in and scaling, and the creative juices are flowing, right? We want to put all of our efforts and energy into that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then again, like if you have so much focus on this because you are just driven to do that, chances are there's going to be an imbalance, and there's going to be a lack in some other area. We're all human. We have so many balls in the air that there's just no possible way that everything's going to be as, like neutral uh, as like balanced. There should be a better word for balanced, but we're just not built that way. Like as humans, we're not built to give, a fraction of our day to business and then the same fraction in life. And when we do have that, or we attempt to try and fit this balance in, a lot of times we will start feeling lacking in what we feel like we should be focusing on more. And so when it comes to work life balance, like it's really based on your priorities. Now, sometimes you might have priorities that differ from something that you really can't like make any difference in. So for example, back surgery, right? You might want to prioritize business so bad, but there is just a physicality, like you have to physically focus on healing and making sure that you're getting the care that you need, and there's just no stopping that, right?
No, there's no, there's
Yeah.
no stopping
Yeah.
that. And to give you, and I'll keep this short, to give you a quick update you guys, life keeps lifing. And I'll give you more of an update when I have more information. But life keeps lifing. And I'm like, can we stop lifing here? Because I want to focus on my business. And of course, I want to focus on motivational speaking and motivational podcasting as well. But life keeps getting in the way. And even though I am out of a back place,
Good.
that was a adventure in itself. And um, that in itself was a adventure because the rehab, now everyone knows this, the rehab that I was at physically for my back said, we're not releasing you on 4 hours of care. So that made everyone scramble to find 24 hours of care for the first time in my life due to a back injury. And I'm like, 24 hours of care? I like threw me a good on that one. I thought I was gonna be come home, wear a back brace, and I'm like, well, okay. But and I told people that I was going to give myself this summer to heal, and then I just randomly found out that life continues to um, life right now, and I'm like, can we stop lifing so I can at least be home to focus on my podcast? Luckily, I work from home, so
Yeah.
luckily for me, I don't have to go into the office and into the. Luckily, I have caretaking. I have people taking care of me right now. So luckily, I am not taking complete care of myself. Yeah, that would be difficult, but life keeps lifing. And Kathy, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask it this way:
Okay.
with kids being out of school and mom and dad, I don't care how old these kids are. I have kids in my life who are 20 years old. I have kids in my life who are 8 years old. But I don't care how old the kids are. But how would you suggest for the younger set that mom and dad do work life balance? Because it's almost July as we record this, and I am thinking for those who don't have the luxury of grandma and grandpa and day camps and everything else, plus can't afford day camps. Let's just put that out there that the cost of living is going up.
Yeah.
And we are all experiencing the cost of living going
Yes.
up, including me. So, what would you suggest? I mean, would you suggest that they wait the white flag and come to you, obviously? But what would you suggest that other alternatives could be without sticking the kids in day camps or shipping them off to, and when I say shipping, I mean shipping them off to grandma and grandpa's,
Mm.
because grandma and grandpa may live out of state.
Yeah. 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 Kids are tough, right? It's hard enough just like trying to take care of yourself and then throw kids in the mix and then a business or even like just a 9 to 5 job, it's
Yeah.
all just tough. And one of the things that what I hear a lot, especially from business owners, especially during this time of year, is that they feel incredibly guilty because, you know, business owners, depending on the business, of course, right? You know, there's always all these factors. They could have a little bit more wiggle room in their day to day, you know, to spend more time with their kids during summer break, you know, so they're not sitting around staring at screens or whatever the case may be. But then there's also people who like they just don't have that luxury, if whether they have their own business or not, you know, they're in the grind and they need to make, you know, income, and they need to work on their business and create revenue for themselves. And you know, and here are the kids, like what do you do with the kids? And it's kind of one of those perspectives, right? And I'm sure that you are full of really amazing life perspectives, but it's kind of like, okay, this is the time like where you prioritize, you know, the kids, regardless, like I guess it just depends on how old they are. Like, are they going to look back on, you know, these summers and think, oh man, I really didn't do much while mom and dad are working? Or, you know, would they be amazed at the awesome summer that the, you know, college student that you hire to babysit them while mom and dad are working, and she's taking them on adventures while mom and dad are working? Or again, if it's like, okay, you know, there's only a month and a half really of no school, you know, what's like the worst that could potentially happen if I just step back from the business a little bit and dedicated that extra time to my kids and having a little, you know, some adventures during the summer? It's all about kind of that especially for kids with little kids, like, or parents with little kids. It's like by the end of the summer, they're like, oh my gosh, this summer cannot end fast enough, right?
Yes.
And but truly, a month and a half, 2 months, it's like a blink of the eye in comparison to the whole rest of your year, you know? And when it comes to work-life balance, again, it's all about the prioritization. If you need to have work come before the family right now for whatever the reason may be, then you got to like make it work, right? And again, looking back on it, as long as you're not spending your whole entire life prioritizing work, never being there for your family, not having that balance, having terrible health because all you're doing is working yourself to death. You know, if you have a little bit of that balance, if you shift those priorities depending on the season of life that you're in, then it's not going to be such a void or a gap or like, you know, hole in your family unit.
And so I was just going to say, you're talking about typical kids that can run and jump and, but
Yes.
well, my listenership is the caregivers that are caring for disabled loved one. And my listeners know by now I have a bad back. I'm recovering from a bad back, and my back will always be bad. I'm recovering from back surgery right now, but my back will always be bad. And so listeners also know that I have a physical disability. So how would you say to the full-time caregiver, even the caregivers themselves, for work-life balance, even if it's an outside caregiver, how would you say to them what you need to at least step back one day a week?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. Right now, I'm dealing with this myself. I'm about to tell my caregivers, you need to step away, go do something else, go out of this house, and so I don't know how to tell people that they need
Yeah.
respite. They
Yes.
call it respite care
For a
for
reason.
reasons. I'm like,
Mm.
but for those who can't afford respite care, for the insurance that doesn't cover respite care, what would you say?
Oh man, respite care is incredibly important for any kind of caregiver, and whether they're outside or you're taking care of a family member, it is incredibly difficult to 24 hours a day take care of the needs of somebody else. And I think it's really going to be the biggest thing that a caregiver needs to know is like, what are the signs and symptoms of them just really getting close to that burnout? Like what's the demeanor change, that if they start seeing these, they can tell the people, whether their family members, like even their kids, their significant others, like, okay, if I'm showing signs of that I am I'm short tempered, impatient, I get angry, easily. And this is not these are all uncharacteristic of how they normally are. That is definitely like something that caregivers need to have their own support system, and they need to be able to kind of pool or gather their support system to figure out what would be the best course of action, whether that is taking a respite day, figuring out how that looks financially, um, and getting the time that they need. And it's really going to be dependent on the person, how much time that it looks like, what that looks like for them. Maybe it's literally just a day in bed watching Netflix, or
Yeah.
it could be going to the beach because they're feeling cooped up. So it's like, figure out the signs and symptoms of, things are not going as well as they were hoping, that, because it isn't like an overnight shift.
No.
And then figure out, okay, when you have this time, make the most of it. Figure that out first.
And also, if you need to go see mental health help
Yes.
because you're overtaxed with everything that's going on in the life right now,
Yeah.
and your loved one, like I almost did, is dragging oxygen tank home with them. I said no, thank you to that one. But all depending on the circumstances. If you need to go see mental health help, just book that appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what you have to do, whether you have to drag the kids with you and have them sit in the waiting room quietly, or whether you can have a next door neighbor technically watch your kids, because I know the helicopter moms out there are screaming at me for saying take the mental health day, but I'm like, yeah, you need to. And I know a couple people in my life that like to overtax themselves with work, and I'm like, you need to take a mental health day.
Yep.
But due to the nature of their job, and I'm not talking about one particular person, but due to the nature of the job, they said they can't, and I'm like, you can't. You can't. It's not like your job is going to be gone. You can people have got to understand you're human, and I repeat, you're human, you need help. And so, Kathy, where are you located and how can people find you? And here's my next question. How do you feel about international based virtual assistants?
I am based in Vancouver, Washington. It's like Vancouver, not BC, Washington, not DC, in the Pacific Northwest. You can find more information on our company at virtualkathy.com. That's Kathy with a C. And when it comes to international or overseas virtual assistants, first off, the more the merrier. There's plenty of work to go around. There's always going to be options for everyone. Not every option is going to be the best option for people. It can be quite different working with overseas VAs versus, US based VAs. It's just a preference. And again, I think there's enough just work to go around.
And once the VA gets to know your work style, and once the VA gets to know what you need, you can use systems
Yes.
to put into place. My VA happens to be my best friend. Not knowing that this, what I like to call the screen little monster, would spin out of control. And I thought, oh, having a podcast would be a fun little side project. Oh no, it spins out of control every single day. And my assistant, when I was half out of it, my assistant, and I told people to leave me alone and go be half out of it. Number one, I'm going in for surgery. Number two, I won't be responding to emails. I won't be responding to texts. And so if you give people leeway, they will know that your assistant is on the other side helping you help yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people are like, it's just admin or it's just some marketing tasks, but it could be so much more, especially if it allows the person to take a step back and recover from surgery, or take a step back and focus on other revenue generating tasks. And, everybody needs some help, whether that's physically in person taking care of somebody, or if, somebody can do all the stuff that you can do virtually.
Yeah. Or how about, graduation season was in May, but how about the graduations that you want to go to, or any special event
Yes.
that you want to go to?
Yes.
How about to say, hey, VA, I need this week off to go deal with my kid. They've got event after event after event, and I want to be there for those moments, so they're not looking at the crowd,
Yeah.
saying, where's mommy and daddy?
Exactly. Absolutely.
And I've had that personal experience. I've been on the other end of that. I've also been a child looking for my mom and dad too, and looking for my mom more than my dad. But yeah, but funny enough, because my mom never really appeared in my classroom as I was going up. Fun fact, because I had a one-on-one aide. So my mom thought, since I'm paying, she's a little idiot, God bless her, but since I'm paying the one-on-one aide, I might as well not send, not appear in Wynn's classroom. And God bless you, mom. She did show up to my high school graduation, and
Okay.
then she did show up to my eighth grade graduation. But other than that, you rarely saw my mom, and she was stay at home, full time mom. And people saw my dad more than they saw my mom, even though my dad was tough on me than my mom. And I admit that now publicly because he had his own issues. But I would think these moms and dads who are listening to this, and even the caregivers who are listening to this, would think, yeah, we kind of need to take a step back because life is too short if you work, and then your kid comes up to you in their wheelchair, their mom old enough to push a wheelchair, and looks at you with those puppy dog eyes, like where were you at the soccer game? Where were you at the ballet recital? Where were you at my choir concert? Then your mom guilt will really set in, and yeah, mom guilt will really set in, and I don't think the caregivers understand the use of work life balance. And you know who you are out there when I say that, because they will say, "Oh, my workload, my workload, my workload." Now you can take work with you, set up in the corner of a coffee shop, and do work. And so now things are coming so far online. Forget all my workload excuse. Be be as much present with people you can be, and be as much present with those who maybe exiting your life. And I'm not talking about dying people. Exit other people's lives all the time, and I'm going through a shift in my life right now as we speak, and um, people are like, "Oh, my work life balance all of a sudden." I'm like, "Well, Zoom won't Zoom won't help in this situation,
Sure.
but you kind of need to put boots on the ground, and then but when it comes down to it, people forget about work life balance. When it comes down to it, I certainly don't forget about work life balance. I mean, hello, work life balance. I had back surgery back in April, and life took a priority. Me healing took
Yeah.
a priority.
Yep.
Me get to this point took a priority, and it was I was not and didn't plan to be focused on work until I did not work until I was in rehab. I did 2 podcast recordings in rehab, and that was it because I was focused on my own health,
Yeah.
and people knew why I disappeared. But now I'm slowly but surely getting back to work. And if my back needs to, if we need to go back in and fix it, we will. And I will take the time to heal my back in the appropriate ways. I'm not rushing back surgery by any means, but I am going to take the time. And if it needs to dovetail into September, it needs to dovetail into September. And work-life balance is work-life balance. And I appreciate you guys dealing with me, and I appreciate you guys dealing with Danielle too. But we all need to remember, work can wait. Life can't. Life can't, especially when you never know when you're going to get a phone call saying a loved one is in the hospital. Get down here, get on a plane, and come help me. Come be loved one's caregiver, or come support me.
Yeah.
We all need support. And I don't care whether it's in the hospital or not, but we all can't do life alone. We are interdependent on humans. We're not codependent on humans. We're interdependent. I repeat, interdependent on humans. And so at the same time, work can wait. Work can wait. A VA can take on half the work. I mean, if you really want to look at it, and you guys go take a look at Cassie's website. She may have a couple tricks up her sleeve for you guys, because she may have a budget-friendly VI option that you guys may not have considered. And the more the merrier, as Cassie said about the international VAs. But geez, take a look at the US. And I said to someone, I feel guilty about being on 24-hour care. She says, when you're giving people a job, so let's not harp on, oh, USVAs, the USVAs are bad. Let's look at, could we hire a USVA, a USAVA for half of it and maybe do the other half ourselves? Or we just hire the international VA for all of it and focus on income generation for the rest of our companies. But that's what's going to save us all from this work-life balance and this thing called burnout. Thank you. We don't want the world to burn out. So, Kathy, I know you have questions for me.
I do, yes. And I do have to just say thank you so much for like pointing out the fact that with the work-life balance, you have to be intentional, right? Exactly what you said. Like, you're thinking, this is what I'm going to be doing if I have to go back into surgery. This is what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm glad, and thank you for mentioning that. My first question for you is, what is your most memorable win you've experienced in business?
My most memorable win that I've experienced in business is that I had the opportunity to speak in the podcasting space. And that was very, very cool. And I hope to do it again soon. I am planning a couple trips next summer, or in the works, for possibly Orlando, depending on when Orlando falls, and possibly North Carolina if I get healthy well enough, if I get well enough to travel again and don't need any more stuff done to my back. North Carolina is pretty much on the books, thank you very much, and possibly Orlando, and it's all those two are in the podcasting space. And as I said, sometimes you need to take it offline and let the VAs do it and just go turn off a computer and just get in person to have people see who you really are. I mean, people know my voice, they know my face, but when I'm at conferences, they go, Win, it's truly you. You're truly in a wheelchair. And I make a joke all the time when I'm going to conferences. I say, chase the woman in the wheelchair. And I mean, chase the woman in the wheelchair because half of the time I'm racing around. And so it's interesting because when everyone hears my voice on the podcast, they recognize my voice, but because podcasting is so one way, they don't understand that yes, I have aides with me, and yes, I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that is awesome. And again, another reason why it's so important to have that balance. Got to focus on your health so you can do that travel for
Oh
next
yeah,
year. That's exciting. And congratulations on
thank
those
you
opportunities.
on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My second question, what comes easily to you that doesn't come easily to others?
Well, now I thought about this. I had, you guys, I don't know if you know this, but I have those who ask me questions. I have 24 hours to prepare. And so I thought about this, and I guess um, the my people skills. I'm not a shy person, and I admit this. I'll ask people, "Hi, how are you?" And this started when I was 6 and younger, and so because I was so used to being around adults due to my disability, I've learned how to interact with adults, and it my my people skills may surprise people because and I am on the more I won't say reserved because I'm stubborn and that is coming true when people see me. And I won't say reserved, but I do take it in and I do take the world in around me and then process things. And so if I don't like something, I get angry. And then if people can keep me calm enough not to get not to get angry and not to get short tempered, I will be perfectly fine. But yeah, if I get pushed because I am an empath and because I take things in and may not say anything to people, and then we're working on me being less of that exploding top. I admit that, and that's a human tendency. Every single day I'm working on that, but it's a human tendency to be have anger issues, and because I take things in and may not say stuff right away, that is causing a problem because I may not, and I also have a high tolerance for pain, which is a huge problem because I don't feel I I say I'm fine, and then so what other people may be surprised by is I'm an extrovert, but I also take stuff in, and then I process it on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those are admirable qualities that a lot of people have to work really hard at.
Yes,
And then there's
and
some that, yeah,
people will say, "Well, when you have a disability, you get you get every right to ask for help." No, I don't. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to hire someone to take care of your loved one
yes,
or take care of the business while your loved one is recovering in the hospital. Hello. Uh, don't don't expect those nurses to be running in to, let's just say, feed your loved one. Don't expect, especially post COVID, don't expect those nurses to be running in at your your loved one's beck and call.
yeah,
So you might need to be work life balancing your loved one in the hospital. I don't care what disability they have or what disease is going on, but it's okay to ask for help. I
yes,
come in and people know I hate asking for help. I hate receiving help too. And so people like, when you're on 24-hour care, receive it with love. And I'm like, I hate to ask for help. Feel my independent here. But that's okay. I It's okay to ask for help, and it's coming out of my mouth. So you people shouldn't feel so bad because it's coming out of my mouth. It's okay to say, "Hey, I'm having a bad day. Leave me alone to an extent that you can," and it's okay to shut off the phone and shut off the laptop.
yes,
And Cassie's nodding her head, yes, like, yes, it is. It's okay to shut off the phone, shut off the laptop due to your job, and because jobs nowadays, those those that are online completely, or jobs nowadays want you 24/7. You can say no.
yeah,
You can say no, I'm dealing with my kids right now. You can say pass it over to my virtual assistant within the office. This concept, virtual assistants within the office. You can say pass it over to my virtual assistant, even even if you work from home.
yeah,
And no, I'm not answering the phone. The phone call can wait unless it's a true emergency of a family member dying. You
right,
can, the business can wait.
yep,
Life can't.
yep,
And this is what I'm saying. Life is too short to be focused on your business. And that's what Cassie and a bunch of other VAs are here for,
yeah,
is to help. Did not They're not here to build the business for you. No, they're here to walk the journey with you.
yes, yep, yep,
See what I'm saying, you guys? You need to. I know this is a wake up call, and I know this is coming from a person that just had back surgery, but work life balance, it shall be. And work life balance, to me, may look a little bit different than it would for you. And work life balance, to me, may dovetail past August if my back isn't behaving and I want to go back in and fix it. It seems to be behaving right now, but we'll see through X-rays whether it's behaving. So work-life balance may dovetail past August, but it's, as I said, it's okay to ask for help.
Yep.
It's also okay in the summer to work a half day, take the rest of the day with your kids too. You can do it that way. Entrepreneurs need to design their own schedule anyway, what comes
Absolutely.
first. But you can ask your bosses at your 9 to 5 job, hey, can I take Friday afternoons off to make it Friday at noon I get off to do Friday at 11 I get off to do my afternoon chores, or better yet, take Mondays off and work from home on Mondays, just so you can, because doctor's appointments are not waiting till the weekend, you guys. No, that's why I'm not going back, and I thought about this in rehab. Do I need to go back into the workforce? And the answer is no. I'm like, no, I don't need to apply for voc rehab again. And I thought about this in rehab. I said, well, once my back is completely healthy again, I sit up at a 9 to 5 job and do all that. I thought, no, because doctor's appointments are not waiting till the weekend. And of course, doctor's appointments are, doctors will schedule you anytime they dang well please nowadays. And so it's not fair to your own health to sacrifice it and then end up in the hospital with weird pains and have to tell people in the ER, oh, I don't know what happened to me. How about stress from work? How, let's be, and Kathy's laughing at me when I say that. How about stress from work? How about because we're up on ladder? How about we weren't paying attention? No, you think big jobs require big sacrifices. No, how about stress? Stress is a common killer, and that could lead to more things that I don't want to think about.
Yeah.
But people don't admit they're stressed out, and that's why. And I emphasize this. That's why Kathy's here to help. That's why I'm here to teach you guys how to live a fabulous life with a disability, even though I'm not doing a very good job at it myself right now. But I will be. And so Kathy and all these other VAs are here to help. They're not here to stress you out. Give them a majority, give them, I don't know, 50% of your workload, and they'll get it done. And then you can focus on what you need to focus on.
Yep.
And you, like, let's say promoting your business. Let's say if you're at the stage where you can promote your business, hire the VA to do the rest of it. You promote and then work alongside with the VA. So it's not a two-way street. You can't tell your kids, oh, mommy's too stressed out and you can't tell disabled grandma that lives with you, oh, I'm too stressed out to take you to the doctor's appointment. I would rather have your caregiver. No, you kind of need to be there for that doctor's appointment, whether it's whether it's your kids or whether it's your loved one who's disabled. And they say bring someone with you to those doctor's appointments. Caregivers can't do it all.
Right.
Caregivers can only do so much.
Yes.
And caregivers can't do it all. Parents can't do it all. I am trying to be Superwoman right now and do it all myself. I'm like, enough's enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So, Kathy, give us your website again, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's virtualkathy.com.
virtualkathy.com, and we'll have everything in the show notes, you guys, and we'll just go check out Kathy's website, see if you're a good fit, and then we'll I hope this episode is helpful to use Kathy or not. She said you're welcome to use her, or you're welcome to use a VA of your choice, but I hope this really opened your eyes to work-life balance, and I hope that you guys enjoyed another episode. Thanks to you guys. Bye, you guys.